Well, greetings to you, friends. My name is Chaplain Matt Dinkins, and I serve as a chaplain at Matthews Glen. I want to think a little bit with you today about the word identity. Identity. I wonder if you've ever had this experience. Perhaps you've been around someone who's been acting rude or inappropriate, and someone says to that person, just who do you think you are? Just who do you think you are? You ever seen that or had that happen to you? I've certainly experienced that, and I may have had it happen to me a time or two, I'll admit. But that is actually a great question. Just who do you think you are? Because who we think we are really impacts who we want to be. Who we want to be. It impacts our identity. And as Christians, that's very important. Who do we want to become as Christians? Jesus had this experience and the working out of his identity and who he was as the Son of God. I want to think a little bit about Matthew chapter 4 and Jesus' time in the wilderness, in his time of temptation. We're in the season of Lent, which is a time of preparation leading up to Easter. And this passage is one of the most read passages during this season because it really speaks to what Lent is all about. And so Jesus was in a time of preparation and of learning and understanding who he was. He had just come off his baptism, where God had said, "This is my son, with whom I am well pleased." God named him as his son. And so he was working out, what does that mean? What does it mean to be the Son of God? And the devil knew that, and he played on that. He said not once, but twice, and as he was trying to tempt Jesus, he said, "If you are the Son of God." And then he would name a temptation to Jesus. So he was trying to work this out and tried to see what did it mean to be the Son of God, just as Jesus was. And of course, Jesus named it by denying those temptations and naming what he was about, and quoting scripture and putting his foot down on who he wanted to become and who he wanted to be. And then, of course, as you read on in the Gospel of Matthew and in all the Gospels, he lived into it, didn't he? In his ministry and in the work he did, he lived into who he wanted to become. And so that's what I encourage us to think about in this time, in this season of Lent. You may not come from a tradition that practices Lent. Growing up, I did not practice this season of the church. I've really come to appreciate it more as I've gotten older and in the practice of my faith. But I encourage you just to think about that, regardless of how much Lent is a part of your Christian practice, just that idea of who do I want to become as a Christian? Because that is a very Lent-like question to ask. Who do I want to become, and how can I do that? How can I do that? That's the question I leave with you today and to ponder over in these weeks to come as we look toward Easter. Thank you all, friends, and I wish you a blessed day.